Alright, welcome back to the channel. Today what I want to do is give you guys a tour of Punta Gorda Town, the back area, where I will also hopefully pass through the front of town. What I want to show you is just really and truly the road conditions that we have to endure every day, and it's been this way for years, right? Sure, fair enough, there are some improvements around town, but apart from that, road conditions in Punta Gorda Town have been really off. So I just thought I would share this with you guys so you can see it firsthand and give a little bit of history about Punta Gorda Town. Alright, so this back area is known as Indianville. So I'm all the way in Indianville Extension. Indianville Extension was a fairly new addition to the town. So it was when I came to live back here about 8 to 10 years ago. The area was all forested, all bush, right, as we would call it. So Punta Gorda Town, for people who don't know, population is somewhere around 7,000 to 8,000 people. Might have grown already because the last census that we received, I think, was in 2016, and somewhere in 2016 I believe it was around 6,000 inhabitants of Punta Gorda Town. So a fairly small community. We don't have a lot of money in terms of tax collection and so forth because of population, and sure enough, population does influence the conditions of a town, right? So Punta Gorda Town being a small community, we do have a hospital in town, we have a university campus, we have a high school in town, that's Toledo Community College. We have about 3 different primary schools and a couple preschools, some of which are new. We do have a couple primary schools in this area, and so you can just imagine the water and the road condition that these kids have to go through when they traverse the area, right? So this is common, what you're seeing here. There's a lot of large potholes in the area. There's always a bunch of patchwork done just before election time. So you know when election is around Punta Gorda Town, because you'll see all the trucks and all the sand and gravel being dumped on the road, and everybody selling the dream about the improved road condition that we will receive after election. And it happens in both main political parties, both major parties. So every time an election is round, the roads tend to get filled up and graded. So as I was saying, Punta Gorda Town, we have some churches also. There's a lot of church in this area, in Indianville area. There's some banks, and some of the banks are actually moving out of Punta Gorda Town. I think our population has to do something with that. We also now have a credit union, the Toledo's Teachers Credit Union, which a lot of our people have access to, and several government and ministries headquartered in the town, and which includes our police department, the magistrate court, and police department recently placed another police booth in this area, which of course is not being used. So a lot of the things done in town by some of the government agencies, they're really just for show. They're not being used. Most of the government areas are understaffed, and so when you look at, for example, the income tax or the tax collection for a country, you'd expect that definitely they want to collect all that taxation money. So they'll put a branch office in several municipalities. For us, we don't have that. If you're dealing with income tax, you'll probably have to go all the way to Dangriga, right? We do have a treasury department located at Front Street. Hopefully we can pass through all these bad roads and see if we can get to the front there. If you notice, they start doing a little bit of dumping. So our mayor, at this time, this is 2019, November, our mayor is His Lordship Ashton Mackenzie. Fairly young guy to the municipality, but he's trying his best, given what he has. I could say, and I should say, that a lot more can be done if only the vision was different, right? But again, Punta Gorda has a lot of work. All the other major utilities come in, they continue to dig up the road. There's not much planning done for municipal development. And again, seeing that we're in Belize, a developing country, I don't like to call us third world country, we're in a developing country. There's a lot to be developed, right? When we look at our new city is Bapplay City. Bapplay City, they're doing some planning in the area, but not too much. And again, because of our poverty level, not a lot of people can afford to carry out all of these first world licensing and checking and so forth, right? But what we really need in this town is that we need some proper drainage. And seeing that I think we're only about 14 feet above sea level, if not at sea level, drainage is important, and how we create that drainage system is also important, right? So we do need some very qualified and capable physical planners to come in and assist. Some of these grant money that we get in from government should be spent on the planning phase. And of course, we several times see projects come into town that are involved in planning phase, and the plans are all thrown under the table after a while, after all the money has been spent. What we do need, of course, is serious leadership, and leadership who can implement and want to see changes. I was born and raised here in Punta Gorda Town, and to be honest, we've only seen 2 streets that really fit the criteria of, say, got an upgrade, and those are probably the 2 cement streets. For some reason, we still don't see that cement streets actually works, and of course we need to drive more traffic down the cement street that we have in the center of town, and these could be cemented. Cemented is made so that they can do it piece by piece as the money comes in now. So whatever that money comes in, I'm hoping that the people in government would spend it rightly and put it where it belongs, right? Infrastructure development, drainage should have been priority for any government in seat. We continue to see development in some areas, some particular areas of our town, and that's more in the influx of the Asian community and their stores. And so we see a lot of those going up, even in the villages around us. There's a lot of that going up, which there is no problem for people investing. It's just that we don't see some of our born and grow Belizean investing in some of these businesses, right? So of course I'm going to throw out there that there need to be some sort of entrepreneurial training available for our people. There's always grant programs available, but for some reason only the upper class, and I don't want to say upper, that we have an upper, middle and lower class, but we do. Only the upper class people who don't really need the finance have access to these finance and get the grant program. I'm going to throw some stones out there and say that we had several people travel out the country for training in entrepreneurial training over the last year. And the promise was that some grant programs will be done for the youths and other people who want to start a business or want to get a business going, to help in the development of our community. And we haven't heard anything. We haven't heard anything for a while. So all that is in the backlog. But we're hoping that we see some improvement in town. Election will soon be around the bend again, so definitely some of these roads will get fixed up. And we're hoping that there's a long-term plan for the fixing of our roads. People don't realize how much money we have to spend only on vehicle repairs annually, just because you have to drive in these deplorable conditions. To give you an exact amount, I probably changed struts and shocks on this vehicle about 3 times in last year, and that's because I have both vehicles. I have this Jeep Liberty and I also have the pickup that I use, and I actually prefer to drive the older pickup because it can take more beating on this road, right, as opposed to coming in with a new vehicle and expecting it to last. So if you know you're traveling down to Punta Gorda, try to yeah, so if you're driving down to Punta Gorda, make sure that you come in a vehicle that is high enough. Don't go renting no cars or bringing no cars into this municipality. Not right now. We're actually at the middle of town now, near the schools, near our major commercial area, and you can see the road condition has not really improved. Um, this is where the focus should be, in these main area where the traffic is heavy. People coming from the villages by the hundreds come and do business in town. The buses traverse this area, right? Tourists traverse this area. Major commercial trucks traverse this area. And so these should be the streets that should have been paved or cemented to ensure that they can endure that traffic that we have coming into town. Our traffic will only increase, right? With the highway going into Guatemala almost completed, on the Guatemalan end, I think is what remains. We'll end up having more traffic in town. So we need to work on our roads. We need to work on our roads. We need to work on our roads, right? 2019, hopefully there's change coming around, right? Our main area, which is around the park, needs some improvement in terms of road condition, in terms of sidewalk, in terms of some repainting. If I could talk a little bit, and I'm jumping around, I know I'm jumping around from different things to and different topics, because I want to also be able to tell you about my country. I want to also be able to tell you about my town where I live, right? But another thing is that on the highway, Punta Gorda used to boast of having one of the best highways coming into the Toledo district. So when you left from Independence or all the way from Nangria, you would think that you would be driving on one of the best highways as it was some years ago. But the highway now is pretty dark, right? And I'm local, I'm from here. I drive the highway a lot, but it's very dark. So when I went through the Hummingbird, and the Hummingbird highway is being renovated and upgraded, the Hummingbird is well painted, so it didn't give me much trouble driving at night. But the driving at night really affected me on the southern highway, where the highway is just all dark. There is no line. How much would it cost to just repaint some of those lines on the southern highway? How much would it cost to repaint some of the lines on the northern highway? Right? They do help. The reflective paint at night in the middle of the highway, on the side of the highway, they do help while you're driving, right? It also will help in terms of viewing pedestrians on the street. Some of these areas are really in dire need of some street lights. We're in the 21st century now, where LED lights are available, right? All these lights are cheaper in terms of your consumption of power, and these could be installed in different areas, right? And of course we have the electric line running all the way down. So all these villages that are dark on the road, they need to start asking or come together as a group and have some lights installed, especially in the villages where traffic accidents or mishaps are always there. So some of the villages, San Roman, Santa Rosa, coming down there is CQT, there is Red Bank, right? Indian Creek, Golden Stream. These villages need to have some lights along the village area. So if you're driving now at night, you know that you're entering a village zone. This is Front Street. If the video is right, this is Front Street, and our Front Street area where the market was, the market has now become a vending area. The old market has become a vending area for food and meats only, and then farther up by the park is our main market. And the street here is deplorable, right? Again, I still can say that we probably only have 1 or 2 streets in Punta Gorda Town that is worth calling a street. All the rest of these are pretty much off-road. So bring your 4-wheel drive truck. Even on bicycle, you have trouble traversing the area. And when it rains, it's worse, right? And in Belize, our rainy season normally, with our hurricane season, is June to November. And even this year, for the past 3 years, I've seen a change in the weather pattern. So we no longer can say that we have a dry season or we have a rainy season, right? We don't know when it'll rain. We don't know when it'll be out hot. I know in the north they were complaining about drought. Here in Punta Gorda Town, it rains every night. if there's a night that it doesn't rain, something is wrong, right? And of course, we get that ton loads of lightning and thunder along with it. So every night, people have to be plugging in and out their devices to ensure that it doesn't blow from all the lightning and thunder we receive. So apart from all the bad roads and so forth, the good news is that Punta Gorda Town is a very peaceful community, low in crime rate, right? It's pretty much safe. You can walk around here at any time, any hour, right? I haven't had any bad experience here, and maybe it's because I live here, but there's no bad experience for me in Punta Gorda Town. Throughout the year, things that you can look forward to one is the Easter fair, right? Normally in March, somewhere around the end of March, we have a large Easter fair. I do remember we used to have something called Toledo Games, which was a Olympic-like sporting competitive parade stuff in Punta Gorda, and this was normally around August, along with all the summer activities that happens. There's a big month of celebration, and that's September. The month of September, where we celebrate our Independence Day, and we also celebrate St. George's Key Day, right? And then of course we're in November right now, and November is the Garifuna Settlement Day, right? Which is one of the larger ethnic groups in our country. So there's the 19th of November, and that of course has changed, and it now becomes a cultural event. And so we celebrate all the different cultures that are in Belize, right? And of course, the different ethnic groups that we find in Belize and in Punta Gorda especially is that we have the Garifuna, we have the Mestizo, we have the Kekchimaya, we have the Mopan-Maya, we have Creole, we have the East Indian, and of course there's a mixture of other ethnicity that goes along, because we are so diverse in terms of our mixture. Everybody is blending together, right? And so some people can't even now make reference to say that I belong to this particular ethnicity, right? But we're all Belizeans, right? We share a common dream, we share a common vision as Belizeans. To navigate your way and reach here in Punta Gorda, there are several things you can do. You can come to Punta Gorda by air, right? There's Mayan Island Air and there's Tropic Air, which has daily flights in and out of Punta Gorda Town, through to Belize City, to Dangriga, to Placencia, right? Takes about an hour going by plane. On the ground there is James Bus Line, and these people have been in business for years and have really buried themselves in the business of the bus transportation, right? And they travel from here to Mango Creek, from here to Dangriga, from here to Belize City. And the bus, they have express buses, they're first class buses, you know, there's AC on the bus. I think they used to have television on the bus. I don't know if they still do. There was Wi-Fi on the bus, right? And so they do provide that service for Southern Belize. And they travel at all hours, starting from I think about 4 a.m. in the morning to about 4 p.m. We should have buses running in and out of Punta Gorda, and there's one that arrives late into Punta Gorda from Belize City. Apart from that, we have some water taxi too if you're going to the Keys or you're heading over to Guatemala. There's Requena Water Services, who run to Puerto Barrios and back. I don't remember the name of them. I think it's Pichilingo. I think they're Guatemalan based, and they also run to Puerto Barrios and back. Apart from that, there is some of the various tour guides who do the one-day fishing trips and other snorkeling trips and so in town. One that I know of who is very reliable is Garbutt's Marina. So they do fishing trips around. So if you're traveling to Punta Gorda, you know that you can get here either by boat, by plane, right, or by bus. And of course, many people have commented that the rental of vehicle in Belize is pretty cheap. And so if you're renting a truck coming down from the international airport, again, just keep in mind that you have to bring something with four-wheel drive when you're coming into the municipality of Punta Gorda, or something that is a little bit high off the ground, because do expect that you'll come to bad roads, right? I wish the video could change and focus more on some of the positive apart from the bad road, but it really gets on my nerves when I drive every morning to work through these bad conditions. So this part of town that I'm driving through right now is in the Magoon area, and the Magoon area, of course, is one of our area that floods very easily. So if we have about an hour, 2 hours of rain, this area will flood. So most people you'll notice in this area have their houses built high off the ground because expect that the water will come up about 3 to 4 feet in this area. If we have an intense rain, the water does go high. It goes up really high, but know that it drains really quickly also. So again, just to point out, because of how fast the water drains down, some nice concrete drainage would work in the area. I know it'll be expensive, right? Money, there's everything costs money, right? But it's an investment worth making. It's an investment worth making. Let's invest in some drainage. Let's invest in some nice concrete or paved street. But these paved street won't work without drainage. And of course, I can remember that some years ago, doing the concrete street, and I'm surprised some of it still holds up. But again, it's because there's not heavy traffic. They were putting down concrete without steel, and some people called this out some years ago, right? So if we're going to do it, let's do it right. Let's take our time. Let's get the right people in, get the right information, and of course, get the right material on the ground. We can't be dumping clay material on the street and expect that it will hold out. We can't be dumping stuff on the street and not compact it. We can't be dumping stuff on the street and hope that someone comes and spread it. Of course, it would be nice if each neighborhood took ownership of their area. It would be nice if the businesses took ownership of the road that is in front of them. It would be nice if the large organizations, and I'm talking about the larger businesses in town, courts, the gas station, the large fashion area, the large food vendors, the large grocery stores, if they took the initiative and say that I'm going to take care of my part of the street, that would mean a lot, right? I know people like to just sit down and depend on government and hope that they do everything. It doesn't work that way. We have to work together, but we have to work together with a shared vision. And a shared vision is what builds a community. Right? I'll leave that with you. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure that you subscribe if you haven't done so. If you have anything to add to this video, please leave it in the comment below. And of course, this is just me geeking out, so for you guys, just go geek yourself.
So guys, that's PG Roads. Not to talk bad about PG, but PG is a wonderful place, and all it needs is a little bit of construction work on the roads, and it is good to go.